Hey guys, I'm coming to you with another video. All praise to the Most High, higher. And let's get to the video. So, I have received a comment. Someone, saying the comments of another video that I made called "Reaction to Montembu," saying once again that black people are Indians. Obviously, we're not, right? Basically, I explained that black people are Europeans, and then you have Negroes who were slaves from Africa who came from Asia, and that the so-called Native Americans are Canaanites, you know, Mongoloid, Asians, right? So, but I had a comment. Someone commented that they believe the term American applies to the people that settled in the islands. Oh, I'm sorry. The first one was: is it possible that those people in the illustration possibly could put people be people from the Carib Islands? I saw that it is stated those illustrations took place in North America, but that made think that if people from the islands was already in North America before the French, Spaniards, and Portuguese got to America. And then he said, I do believe the term American applies to people that settled in the islands as well as Haiti, Jamaica, Dominican islands, etc. Okay. Great comment. So, we're going to get to the first part. Or we're going to get to this part first. I believe the term American applies to the people that settled in the islands as well as Haiti, Jamaica, Dominican islands, etc. Alright? So, let's look up the definition of an American. Alright? Now, that's the word Adam. But we're going to do etymology first. American. 1570s. Originally, one of the aboriginal peoples discovered in the Western Hemisphere by Europeans. From modern Latin Americanus, from America. The original sense is now Native Americans. The sense of resident of North American, of European, originally British descent is from 1765. Go to the adjective. 1590s, pertaining to the Western Hemisphere and its aboriginal inhabitants, from modern Latin Americanus, from America. The sense of pertaining to the residents of North America, of European, originally British descent, is recorded by 1640s. Later, pertaining to the United States, French, Americain, Spanish and Italian, Americano, German, Amerikanisch, Fem, form Americanus attested from 1838. The American Beauty Role, so-called, from 1886. American. English as a sub-language attested from 1806. Ameri-English is from 1974. Alright, so let's get back to the first one. 1570s. This is the 15th or the 16th century. Originally one of the aboriginal peoples discovered in the Western Hemisphere by Europeans. Let's read that again. One of the aboriginal peoples discovered in the Western Hemisphere by Europeans. Okay? So what does that mean? Let's look up aboriginal right quick. Oh, snap. And then we're going to go ahead and type in 1828 Webster's Dictionary. Aboriginal. 1660s or the 17th century. First, earliest existing from the beginning. First, earliest existing from the beginning, especially in reference to inhabitants of lands colonized by Europeans from Aborigines. Okay. So what this means is, right? What I think this definition is referring to, it means that It could either mean the original people of America or indigenous were discovered in the Western Hemisphere by Europeans, right? So you're black. I mean, my bad. So you're Spanish. Or my bad. You're Spaniards, French, Germans, British, Dutch, Irish who came, found indigenous people. But it also could mean that they found people who were also of the heritage of the rich indigenous, so people who are mixed or intermingled. So, because you have original and you have aboriginal. First earliest existing from the beginning, especially in rivers, so it means first earliest. See, I told you not. It's either first or beginning. It ain't no earliest. It's either first or beginning. So, or it could mean different indigenous groups with different phenotypes. So. But the key word is called. I mean, the key phrase colonized by Europeans. That's the key one. Now let's go to 1828 Webster Dictionary. American, adjective pertaining to America. American, noun, a native of America. Originally applied to the aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans. Now applied to descendants of Europeans born in America. So this means, right? I believe this means that the Europeans, aka the black Europeans that came and found indigenous people with all different sorts of origins that had straight hair, some curly, but they weren't black. We'll get into that. They found indigenous Canaanites here, right? Hamites, right? And they called them American. But now applied to descendants of European borns in America. So that last part either means they mixed in of what that painting you saw, right? We're gonna type it and now they call themselves American, or it could mean that when they founded the U.S. government and created the United States of America, then that's what American means. So basically, the American is the European. Black European. The indigenous is your so-called Choctaw, Cherokee, Sioux, Cheyenne, Aztec, all that stuff, right? So that answers your question right there. Let's get to the next part. You said it's possible those people in the illustration possibly could be the people from the Carib Islands. So, what illustration is he talking about? He's talking about. We're gonna make this quick because I've got to mention something. He's talking about like these paintings. Portraits of Native Americans by Johann Moritz Gorgondas and Jean Baptiste Debray. And then this painting, right? He's talking about these paintings. And I used to go by this stuff too. Right? And I'm going to explain that. I'm going to answer all that. So, because they love to bring up these, Negro photos in America, right? We're going to get to that. But first. What if the people from islands were already in North America before the French? So here's the thing. These are the nations that colonized the Americas. You also have more, but these are the main nations that colonized the Americas, the North, South, and Central. Okay? I don't care what they say about this person discovering America. He didn't so even if he did not look like what Benjamin Franklin said. All right? He said in his quote, which leads me to add our, one mark. That the number of purely white people in the world is proportionally very small. All Africa is black or tawny. Asia, chiefly tawny. Remember, tawny means lighter skin. America, exclusive New Corners, huli huli so. And in Europe, the Spaniards, not the Spanish, the Italians, French, Russians, and Swedes, not the Swedish, are generally of what we call a swarthy complexion. What does swarthy mean? Swarthy means dark skin. Dark skin. Not, and now if you go to Google, right? They'll show, a Caucasian person. But when you type in animal, right? You type in animal. Now they start showing darker animals. So the swarthy means dark skin, alright? Swarthy means dark skin. Let's get back to the quote. The Saxons only accept who with the English who came after the British and Scottish make the principal body of white people on the face of the earth. I could wish their numbers were increased. Alright. And remember, guys, we always say that the population of America is mostly white because Europeans came and colonized. But your boy Benjamin Franklin said that most of Europe during that time was swarthy, and we all know Europe came to America. So that should be something to think about. But since we got that part right, we'll just show a diagram of what he's talking about. You see what he said? All of Europe, Germany, France, Portugal, all of it, swarthy. That means his entire map was full of black people. Alright? Black people. So he showed you some quotes. So now let's get to the colonization of Americas. The colonization of Americas. The Spanish first, then the French, the Spanish and Portuguese, then the French, then the British, Dutch, Irish, Russians. So what we learned in school, right? We learned in school that a white person came and colonized these areas. But that's not the truth. The first were the black Spanish. They colonized Mexico, California, Texas, Florida. And then they colonized parts of Central America, Caribbean, South America, everywhere in green. Then you had your Portuguese colonizing Brazil. Black Brazilians, right? A lot of parts of the Caribbean. Then you had your black French in the Caribbean, Midwest. A lot of people like to say that people are foreigners. Foreigners to America. You're from Haiti. You're from Jamaica. You're a foreigner. Well, French came to the Americas before you did. So, and then the British who came last. Like the French came first, and then the British. The British, Canada, USA, 13 colonies. Then you had some Dutch, some German Germans, Polish. And guess what? They were all black. They were not white. They were black. Now, you could argue the Russian territory might have been white because the Russians, we learned from Lex Will, helped the whites fight against the blacks in the Civil War. Because, the blacks used to own the white people, right? But everywhere else was Negro. Everywhere else is black colonization. Everywhere else. We learned in school that the whites did all this. No, the blacks colonized this area. All right? And we have Benjamin Franklin to help us. Now let's get to your point, all right? You said the illustrations have black people, right? I'm talking about indigenous people. Now, what if I told you that what if you don't just have whitewashing, you also have blackwashing? So, we'll get to the first painter, right? This person, right? Paleo American. So let's type in Johann Moritz Regandus. Johann Moritz Regandus. Alright. Johann Moritz Magundus was a German painter famous in the first half of the 19th century, working for his depicting landscapes and ethnographic subjects in several countries in the Americas. Right? Magundus was born in Augsburg into seven generation of family noted painters and engravers of the city. He is also the great grandson of George Philip Magundus. George Philip Magundus was a battle and military genre painter and engraver born in free emerald city of Augsburg, now Bavaria, Germany. He was a pupil of Isaac Fishes and a historical painter, Borg and Liebig Tempest stuff for his models. Alright, so I'm going to read all this. Now, I'm going to type this in. Okay, the reason this is important is because if Benjamin Franklin said that in 1751, if he said all of Europe is swarthy, right? How could this dude be white? I mean, he might, this might be an actor. So, because he don't even have, they don't have, he doesn't even have a picture of his dad, right? And this dude, so I'm saying, this dude might be an actor, acting like he painted it, right? He could have painted it, or it could be a swarthy German. I'm just saying, right? This could have been a black European painter that painted this. He took the, if Fabrice is watching, I don't know if you agree. He said he was influenced by Alexander von Humboldt, a Dutch, right? Ha! I guarantee you. Wait, let me see if this person actually exists. Hold up. Okay, so. Alright, so they don't have a painter. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong, that this was a black Dutchman. This right here is an actor. I'm pretty sure this dude was an actor. Plus, it says born in Prussia. Oh, yeah, that's this def. Yeah, this. It says his father, Alexander George von Humboldt, belonged to a prominent German. See, look, all the nobles were black. So this is an act. So that's really a black man. This guy is an actor, I would think. Fabrice, if you're watching. So the person who painted this, a white person did not paint this photo, but I'm pretty sure a black painter, Johann Moritz, did that, or it could have been a white German, But let's get to the next guy. Okay. See, look, they don't got a photo of him. They don't have a photo. They got this person. And I'm gonna tell you why this matter. Jean Baptiste Debray was a French painter who produced many valuable lithographs depicting the people of Brazil. Debray won the second prize at the 1798 Salon des Beaux Arts. All right. So remember, they don't have a photo of this dude. There are many black people walking around with the name or last name Baptiste or Jean. So I'm pretty sure this dude is an actor. This is fake. I'm pretty sure this painter was black too. Alright? See, it was related to Jacques Louis David. The actor is born to a French family, right? Remember, all these don't trust these white pen. They're actors. Okay, so all right, so we're gonna go back. When have you heard a white person name be Jaquez? Come on now. What white person you know has the name Jaquez? Come on. All right, so we're gonna type in lineage. Now, it's not saying if he's related to King, but I'm pretty sure he is. Alright, so, but what I'm trying to tell you is, since we got Benjamin Franklin as our receipt of what Europeans looked like in the 1700s, what I'm trying to tell you, you're saying that these are black Indians, but I'm telling you, the painters, cause they try to say that these are black Indian photos painted by white painters. And I'm letting you know that those white so-called painters are actors or fake photos. Those are black people, black Europeans, or black royalty pretending to be indigenous. That's what it is.